Hey, what's up, guys? This is the fiery Friar. It is October 4th. We're one day away from the first NLDS game, Padres and Dodgers. Highly anticipated. I believe we're a slight underdog, but I've been watching a lot of reports. A lot of people think we have a really good chance. I think we have a great chance. We played the Dodgers well all season long. I believe we were 8-5 in the regular season against them. I know that we clinched the season series, and we played the Dodgers well in the playoffs. So I'm very confident, hopefully not biased, but I think a lot of people can agree with what I'm saying. I think some of the Dodgers uh, fans won't admit it, but they're nervous as well. All the pressure's on them. They've spent over $1 billion this year. I mean, they're expected to win. They are expected to win. They're always expected to win, and they never really do. They did win during the shortened COVID season. They don't get a lot of credit for that, which I don't hate. But it was a shortened season, and today we got some not so great news. Joe Musgrove, and when I say not so great, that's an understatement. Joe Musgrove is absolutely out for the rest of the season, if not next season as well. He's going to have to undergo Tommy John surgery, and it's a big blow for the Padres. And I know a lot of Padres fans out there are worried. First of all, we feel for Joe. Joe is a hometown hero. Um, he has been a leader in this clubhouse since day one and continues to be. Even when he's on the injured list, he's still a leader. And he will continue to be a leader. But he was injured primarily, or for most of the season, came back, surprisingly was hot when he came back. He was doing great and really kind of unexpected uh, during his start against the Braves in the wild card. Higgy kind of ran out to the mound after a few pitches that he noticed Musgrove. A catcher knows his pitcher, and he went out there and kind of you know called a mound visit. And Ruben Niebla came out, and everybody was around him, and it was only the fifth inning, I believe, maybe the fifth inning, I think, and he was out of the game. And Joe Musgrove does not want to leave a game, so something was going on. We had some positive reports that he, I don't know, he got screened medically or something after the game, and it was positive. But then he was going in for an MRI the next day, and I haven't heard anything for a little while about the results of that MRI. I didn't know what to think of it. He wasn't scheduled to pitch, as far as I could see. Martin Perez had been called up. He was not scheduled to pitch against the Dodgers, which I thought was kind of concerning. But hey, maybe we can get him back for the following series if we play the Phillies or the Mets, whoever it may be. And I was hopeful because he seemed to be positive about it. And we got the bombshell news today that he is having Tommy John surgery. And I just want to show you a video. And obviously, he's very emotional about it. He's holding back, but he's very emotional. I think a lot of people are.
I'm devastated about, not being able to finish what we started. But I'm not all that concerned about the work or the rehab and, the time off. I know how to work hard. It's just a matter of, coming to grips with that. This is it for me. I mean, I've been dealing with it for a while, and everyone's got some kind of tears and some damage in the UCL. I was told back in the middle months of the summer that, you know, that there was some damage there and that it was kind of a matter of time. And um, this seemed like something that I could manage for the day. I felt like I was capable of throwing still. I didn't feel like anything, you know, as extreme as, a UCL injury. But over the last few weeks, it was getting, a little more intense. And then, Obviously, in that last game, it was a pretty drastic jump from like the third to the fourth inning. I felt decent in the first couple innings, and velo stuff was still there. I think I remember after the third coming in and feeling like significantly tighter and put some heat on it, tried to go back out, and then that entire fourth inning was a struggle. I was just trying to get it over the plate and get out of the inning, and you know reevaluate from there. But yeah, I think I was pretty clear. I didn't necessarily know it was a UCL injury, but it was something that I hadn't felt before, and to the point where obviously I don't think that's the first time in my career I've had to walk off the mound. So yeah, it was pretty intense for me.
Yeah, wish we had better news to report on Joe, but I know Schulte talked about him being out for the NLDS. So he went for the MRI yesterday. It showed that he's got damage to the ligament. It's a UCL injury. It's going to be surgical, so a Tommy John surgery for Joe. Obviously, a blow to our team. On the field. I think just as much, you have, what he means to our group and our team, his presence every single day. He's totally vested in the Padre organization. The way he pitched over the last 2 months, that's probably he's thrown a lot of good baseball for the Padres in the last few years. That was probably him at at his best, honestly, over the last few months. I mean, the games we've seen just here last week, the game he threw here at Dodger Stadium, velocity, command, all the different breaking balls. He was again. He should be very proud of himself that he was able to, come back and not just take the ball, like come back and pitch us into the playoffs. I think we're definitely not here if it's not for Joe Musgrove. So I know he's obviously very disappointed. Everybody in that room feels for him, and we've had a lot of guys step up this year. I think this is it's going to take other guys on that staff to step up. Is definitely a big blow, and feel for him because he means a ton to our organization. We've had guys come back from that in 12 months, other guys 14, 16 months. We won't put a hard time frame. Obviously, he's got to go get the surgery. They'll get more information after that. Biggest thing with Joe, he's as hard a worker as we have in that room, and we've got a lot of hard workers in our clubhouse. So, he's obviously very committed. He'll put himself in a great spot and be ready to come back and pitch whatever that time frame is here down the road. Where that is, whether it's the end of next season or the 26th year, we'll figure that out after the surgery.
Next season.
Again, like we'll see how it goes. Some guys have come back at different time frames, but obviously he's going to be out an extended portion of next year.
So there you have it. Like I said, obviously Joe is emotional. I think everybody feels for Joe. Everybody loves Joe in San Diego, and he's a great pitcher. I mean, he threw a no hitter, and so did Dylan Cease. But Joe was the first to do it in the as a Padre. There's Java Joes. I mean, Joe, he's all over the place in San Diego, except for on the ball field, it feels like. But I do want to reassure fans out there that we have been playing through injuries, including Joe Musgrove, all season long, and we've been handling it. Once again, that's an understatement. We've been doing great. We're in the playoffs, past the wild card round. The bullpen came in and finished that game strong for Joe. Even though he had to be taken out early, we still handled business. And I do trust Mike Schilt and his managerial skills and strategies and approach to, go through all the options and figure out how are we going to fill this void the best that we can. And whether that means bullpen, Martin Perez, Darvish is healthy. So, and he hasn't been pitching all that great, but he's still Darvish. You never know. I mean, it's baseball. Anything could happen. And he's proven time and time again to be a dominant pitcher. I'm going to get into the Dodgers injuries too, because they're definitely not short on injuries. They're not sympathizing with us. Nobody likes to see anybody injured. I mean, this is baseball. This is a kid's game. This is for fun. Nobody wants to see anybody get injured. But we're not the only ones. In fact, we're relatively healthy compared to, for sure, the Dodgers and a lot of teams. So let's throw it back to Hassan Kim. He is out for the rest of the season as well. Once again, he wasn't really having the best of years, but he potentially could. We could have seen him for the last time as a Padre, which is pretty sad. I mean, Ha-Seong Kim is a favorite amongst a lot of people for lots of different reasons. I mean, he came up, he wasn't playing every day, and he earned his spot. He won Utility Player of the Year. I think that's the name of the award. And he's played every position. And I mean, I'm talking like third base, second base, shortstop. I mean, throw the dude in the outfield, he probably is a Gold Glover. His bat is not the best, but he's really made up for it in a lot of other ways. Playing with effort and grit all the time, you know. So we'll take it back to the before I get to the Dodgers. The Kim injury, he did something to his shoulder. He jammed his shoulder, sliding back into first. It's always these stupid little plays that end up hurting somebody, you know. And so here's the video of that.
Tell you right there, we just witnessed that. That's where a first baseman's got to let that ball travel a little bit right over the runner, rather than going out and getting it, letting it travel, then bang. Oh, did he hurt his shoulder?
Yeah, I think he's holding his right shoulder. He immediately gestured for the dugout when he went back in safely. Now holding that shoulder all the way over to the railing of the dugout there. And athletic trainer Mark Rogo going to check on him.
Oh, wow. He's like making a beeline right for the dugout. He's not even going to stop and talk with the trainers. Oh, did you see his plant, his left hand? Was it his left shoulder or right shoulder?
So, you know, Kim's out for the rest of the season, possibly not even a Padre anymore. Good thing about Musgrove is even though we might not have him next year, we still have him for the foreseeable future, even after that, you know, 2026 and 2027. And he's still going to be great. I think just the game of baseball, especially with pitching, everybody gets Tommy John surgery at some point. And it's sad because, you know, velocity is such a heightened, you know, attribute. And, you know, how many strikeouts you get, how hard you pitch. I mean, they're just ranting and raving about that all the time. And back in the day, you know, starters used to go sometimes the whole game, if not 7, 8 innings, and you had a closer, you know, maybe one other reliever during the game, and they weren't pitching. They weren't all pitching 100 miles per hour coming out of high school. You know, I mean, you've seen it with Robert Suarez. He can pitch fast, and every time he pitches 101, 102, 100, it's just, and that 100, blah, and then he gets, you know, they take it over the fence. So, I mean, velocity isn't everything, you know, and I don't think it's just velocity that's causing Tommy John surgery. I mean, Musgrove has, you know, nasty pitches. And that's why it was so surprising, I think, is because he was pitching great. He was pitching really good. I was stoked to see him back. You always get worried about, and Darvish has kind of been an example of this, you get worried about a pitcher coming back from an injury and them not doing that great to start out and kind of having to work their way up. And that's not really that's not good when you're coming back at the end of the season and you're going into the playoffs. I mean, you kind of need to be prime time then. And Musgrove seemed to come back strong. I mean, even in the game that he pitched where he came out and was injured, it really was only a few pitches that were noticeably lower in velocity or his curveball wasn't curving. You know, it was flat, quote unquote. And but before that, he had been battling, he said, for a couple weeks now with injuries or with tightness or something, and I didn't notice. I don't think many people noticed. Maybe people in the dugout or on his team noticed, or maybe Ruben Niebla, and he talked about it in private. Players don't like to worry fans, or maybe they're a little in denial themselves. So you can never really trust how they say they feel, which is going to bring me to my next point here. The Dodgers have injuries too. Let's start with Freddie Freeman, who actually got injured playing the Padres, rolled his ankle, sprained ankle. He never had a sprained ankle before. And that's a big injury, That's hard to play on. Dave Roberts says if he's not fully healthy, he could, pinch hit. It's still not easy. He's a great hitter. He's a huge part of that lineup. They have Ohtani, they have Betts, but Freeman bats third. I mean, Freeman is a legitimate force to be reckoned with. And once again, the Dodgers are prone to injury as well. They're dealing with a lot too. We're not the only ones. So we don't need to be too worried. Oh, now our shot of the World Series is done. No, it's not. It's not done. It's definitely not done. And we've proven, this Padres team has proven over and over and over again, if it's never one guy. It can be Tatis one day. It could be Higgy one day. And that's not like a rare occurrence. I mean, it was just him the other 2 days. The whole playoff so far, Higgy has come through. Solano, you name it, okay? And they've come through. Freeman, like I was saying before, you can't really trust people or players to kind of be completely honest about their injuries or not in denial a little bit, because they don't want to worry people and they want to make it seem like it's better than it is. I mean, even Musgrove, before his Tommy John, diagnosis, said he was feeling optimistic about, whatever screening he had after the game before his MRI the next day. So you never really know. And I want to show you a video of Freeman, first of all, spraining his ankle, and then his press conference after. And once again, I don't like the Dodgers, okay? I'm not a Dodgers fan. Don't ever think I am, but I am a baseball fan, and I have human compassion, and I don't want anybody getting hurt. It's a better game when people aren't hurt. I want a challenge. I want competition. I want the best players on the field. I don't want to win because you're hurt, and I don't want to celebrate that. Like, that's not good sportsmanship. That's not how you play any sport, or that's not how you live life. So here's Freddie Freeman, his injury, and him kind of talking about it.
That might be a bigger deal than we're even realizing. What a pick by Jake Cronenworth. A wide throw and a tag from the rise to get a stumbling Freddie Freeman. You hold your breath until he gets to his feet. And Freddie Freeman not even going to test it, limping off of the field.
Oh, ankle.
Freddie, you play through nagging injuries all the time. Is this about as serious of an injury as you'll try to play with?
I would say, yeah. They told me this is a 4 to 6 week IL stint, and I'm going to try and do this in a week and play. So, but I feel I'm not going to be hindering, I don't think. There's just going to be certain plays where, like the slowing down stuff. So I can't thank Bernard Lee, our whole training staff, of getting me able to do this. So so I would say this is, I did play with a broken finger, but I would say this is I've never sprained an ankle before, so that was the hardest thing. I didn't know, and they say your first sprained ankle is the worst. But they said this is 4 to 6 weeks, but I'm going to do it in a week.
If it is hindering, how will you know sort of if it is time to
Well,
move?
it doesn't matter. Tomorrow, who cares? No one's going to worry about me hindering or anything like that. Tomorrow, we just got to win ball games, and that's my focus tomorrow.
So, I get a sense by his body language and just the way that he's kind of talking that he wants it to be better than it is. And, when they give you a estimated time of recovery, you can't just will that shorter, like the human body doesn't work like that. Okay. We all know that. And I think, he's going to be tender and he's going to be babying that foot. And that foot is crucial. I mean, every step he takes, slowing down, hitting the bag like he did when he injured it, those baseball moves are hard to make. Fortunately for him, he does play first base. He's closer to the bag. He doesn't really – I mean, he definitely has to make athletic moves, but not as much as like a shortstop or an outfielder. And, he could be a pinch hitter. A pinch hitter, though. He couldn't be DH. We all know why. Shohei Ohtani is the DH. And Shohei Ohtani didn't pitch all year this year. Guess why? Tommy John. So injuries are all over the place. I don't want Padres fans to panic. If you panic on major injuries, you've been panicking all year. I think the Padres have been good at helping us not forget that injuries aren't as important as we think, but to remind us that they're good enough to rise above. And they really have every single time. We've had Bogarts out for a good portion of this season, and we had to play with Wade and McCoy. And we'd have to shuffle people around, and we got the job done. And who else? Tatis? Tatis is freaking never healthy, man. And we find a way to do it. And that dude is ripping the ball right now. I mean, he's so stoked to be in the playoffs, especially without cardboard cutouts. He is like thriving in the moment. So we need to be happy about that. That's huge. We're pretty healthy. Who else have we had hurt this year other than Bogarts, Tatis? I mean, like I said, Darvish has been out. Machado has been banged up. He looks good right now. Not the postseason. He looks great at third base. He got a clutch hit. So honestly, I can't be too picky. Machado's on fire too. Feel like I'm missing somebody. I'll remember as soon as I stop recording this video, of course. Arise. I wanted to get to Arise a little bit too, because he suffered an injury to his left thumb while sliding into third base during a game back on June 25th. June 25th. Okay? That's a long time ago. And luckily, it wasn't something he had to, get surgery for right away or even at all. But it is something that's not going to go away if you keep playing baseball. And he's been playing with that injury this whole time. He was told by doctors he can continue to play without further damage, and that while a rest of a couple weeks will make him feel better, it would not solve the issue. He could get surgery in the offseason, though the feedback so far has been that the ligament will heal with a few months off. So, I mean, that's perfect for baseball. But, I mean, he's always grimacing. He's always, shaking his hand, because he's hurting. And he still won a batting title. I mean, people play with injuries. And we're fortunate enough to have most of our roster right now healthy. Healthier than all year. Even Musgrove's out, but he's been out all year. We only had him for a blip, and it was a great blip, and he helped us get to the postseason. I truly believe, and thank whoever, Peter Seidler, the baseball gods, whoever, thank them for that time we got with Musgrove, because maybe he really shouldn't have come back. This is something that was bound to happen. I mean, you can hear it. You can hear them talking about that. It's something that was bound to happen. I want to end with a couple other Dodgers notes. The Dodgers are no stranger to pitching injuries. Glasnow is someone they acquired to, really help them get to the World Series finally. Of course, Shohei Ohtani also, but Glasnow is probably their best pitcher, and he's out for the season. He's been out for the season. He was an all-star this season. Okay, so he wasn't out the whole season, but he was an all-star. And August 11th, he complained about his elbow, and right after that, they're like, hey, he's done for the rest of the season. That's a huge blow, Their pitching is really suffering right now, and we've got a strong bullpen. Lately, the bullpen has been worrying me a little bit. Just, I don't know, maybe my expectations are too high. I don't want them to give up anything ever. I feel like they walk a little too much. Matsui definitely is not someone I am comfortable putting in ever, unless we're ahead or down. And hey, let's kill some innings so we can save our other guys. No offense, Matsui. I'm just keeping it real. Suarez is someone I'm kind of worried about. Come on, man. This is not true, but I could, buy a pitching machine and put it at 100 miles per an hour and hit 100 balls a day and then face you, and it'd be the same thing. I could get good at that one thing. And, okay, pros, they're already good at that, dude. So you need to come with something else. But other than that, I mean, we're solid. The King is a beast. I mean, he's a beast. What? We've yet to see Cease in the playoffs. He's already a beast. He threw a no-hitter this year. Can't wait to see him. Darvish, I'm rooting for you. Perez, I'm rooting for you. We've got bullpen to back both of you up. No matter what, we just need to get those bats going. And a few of these pitchers that are, lined up to pitch in the NLDS, I know we can hit. So we need to really take advantage of those games. I don't think it'll be a 3-game series. Neither team is going to sweep either team. I don't know. But I think it could go the full 5. And both teams are a force to be reckoned with. It's going to be good baseball. It's going to be heartbreaking for one side. But I was 8 years old in 98, and I went to a postseason game against the Braves, and this is the best Padres team I've seen since then, for sure. Better than 22. 22 did not have that camaraderie, that unity, that brotherhood. This team loves each other. And let's bring it back to 84. 84, Ray Kroc died, and they had the Ray Kroc symbol the next in 84. I think he died in 83 or the year before 80, maybe it was early 84. Either way, during the 84 season, they had the Ray Kroc thing on, and they went to the World Series. This year, Peter Seidler, of course, I'd rather have him not pass away, but I just think that he is absolutely still in the heart of these players. I mean, literally, Peter Seidler heart, It's eerie because we've had so many crazy games and moments that last year did not happen, and it's almost like these moments came from somewhere else. I mean, this year can make you spiritual as a Padres fan. It's ridiculous. The triple play all the walk-offs. Just I could go on and on and on and on and on naming moments this year. I mean, it's a fat highlight reel, guaranteed. No matter what happens, it was an amazing season for the Padres, and I truly believe we can go all the way. And the last thing I wanted to touch on, one more injury the Dodgers are dealing with is another pitcher, Clayton Kershaw. He went on the 15-day IL with a toe injury September 26th. Bone spur, we know about that. 15 days would technically land him back on October 11th. There's been no reports of him being expected to pitch in the NLDS or even for the rest of the season. We don't know. And he's getting up there in age, man. So they're not going to have him for much longer, and he hasn't really been pitching that good this year. I'm not trying to hate on Kershaw. I'm just, once again, I'm just keeping it real. And then Dave Roberts also, he hinted that Kershaw might be dealing with something more than just his toe injury, but he said he'd let Kershaw address the situation himself. So, the whole point of this video is just to reassure Padres fans, we're still in it to win it. Bring that attitude. You've got to have that attitude at home while you're watching with your family or you're watching with your friends. If you're at the bar, if you're at the game, okay? If you're at work and you see someone to San Diego, holler at them, say, go Padres. Get that energy going because the Padres need you. They need us. You're sitting here watching this video because you love the Padres. And we've got a chance to go all the way this year. I mean, Petco, we've been playing playoff atmosphere all year. The Padres fans are amazing. The Friar faithful have really shown up this year, and everybody's talking about it. It's on national news. It's on MLB Network, MLB Central. It's on ESPN. It's on SportsCenter. Whatever you name it. Nobody is counting the Padres out. And Musgrove is going to be there in the dugout, given that same energy that he gave all year long when he was pitching or not pitching. We need to stay fired up. Don't lose faith. Don't lose faith. I have faith that you will not lose faith. I'm just reiterating it, just in case you're a little worried about Joe Musgrove being out, Ha-Seong Kim being out. It's okay. We've still got a solid group. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It would really help me if you like and subscribe, even more subscribe. That'd be great. I'd love to give you more videos and show up on your feed and just share my love for the Padres and baseball in general. It's a great season. It's a great season to be a fan of baseball, a fan of the San Diego Padres. I'm stoked for what the future holds. And tomorrow is Game 1 NLDS, and I'm super confident. And why not us?